right, hope you are ready for our next individual that's going to be training here. A dear friend of mine from Germany, lives in Switzerland, has built a massive team for many years, has been in the industry for 25 plus years, both from a distributor point of view and corporate point of view, has seen the industry and knows that everything we do here is about duplication, about simplicity, and about integrity. Please help me welcome Mr. Sven Goebel.
Wonderful hello to all of you around the world. My name is Sven Goebel, and it's a great privilege for me to be contributing to this amazing congress Ted and Dini have put up again for all these many 10,000 people all around the world. Myself, I've been in this industry for exactly 30 years now. It's been an amazing life, a steep learning curve, and I'm very proud to be part of this amazing group speaking to all these hungry people who are hungry to learn today. My subject, what I've been putting together, which is kind of condensing 30 years in 20 minutes, is 10 matters you should really become a master of. And I'm going to give you 10 words and maybe a bonus word as number 11 for you to learn about, to dive in, to recap, and to constantly repeat until you are really a master in these various subjects. So the first one is a truly, truly important one. And as I said earlier, you become a master, honestly, you don't even have a choice. Yeah, you have no choice than becoming a master on these matters. The first one, clarity. When you speak to your people, when you communicate in whatever you do, just make sure you are constant and clear with your language, with your expression. Even when, like myself, you speak in your second language or even third language, just try to be on point and be clear. I have an amazing story here because one of our leaders just recently came up to me in the dinner and she said, look, what made the change and helped me to get to the very next level and ultimately become successful. Sven, guess what this is? And I said, what is it? And she said, clarity. It's the first time I heard it in 30 years that someone said it was the clarity that made me succeed. I said, what do you mean? And she said, my language became so clear, my expressions, the demands, the commitments, though the people had no choice. They either understand or they don't follow me. And that made it so easy, so clear, and gave me an amazing opportunity to have great relationships with people where there's no fuss, no mess, nothing. And that's a very true thing because without focusing and getting clarity, you cannot be that leader. You can't lead. You cannot even motivate people, and you cannot plan, and you are also not a very good communicator. So clarity is something you got to make yourself conscious and you got to start working on. That's a very important matter. Number 2, and it adds right to the clarity, which is simplicity. And I know we all struggle with simplicity. When somebody starts in our business, everything is simple because we don't know much. You know, there's that simplicity on this side of the complexity. And complexity, opposite to simplicity, is something we all get trapped in sooner or later in our careers. We just can't help. And this is because we are getting educated. And the more people try to educate us, or the more people try to educate themselves, they add knowledge. And knowledge usually does kill excitement. So that initial excitement, with that lightness you have, once you start this business in the early stages, where you sign up the most people right in front, gets turned around into something that is more complex, and that training and that knowledge is going to make you look a little bit more stressed, the lightness is gone, and as a consequence, the attraction that people feel from you is also something that slowly starts to vanish. It slowly starts to disappear. And that's the moment where in business the situation becomes complicated. We are getting stuck. And what we got to master, it's very important, is we got to master that complexity and turn it into simplicity again. But that's a different simplicity. That is simplicity beyond complexity. And we all got to get there. We got to learn to master our complexity and make it simple and fun again for people to understand what is really important in order to be attractive again. It's like in martial arts, when you start off as a white belt, you are excited, you don't know nothing, and you just try to do your best. But later you become a black belt, you know it all. And then you got all these white belts in front of you who look up to you for your leadership, and you try to teach them all these complicated things you learned over the years. And what you're going to see is that they are totally overwhelmed. So you got to master all this complexity, everything you got to learn, and just put it in such simple pieces that the white belts can chew it again. And that is what a great leader does. It's very valuable to have simplicity on the other side of complexity. Another important matter is persistence. I believe we don't talk enough about persistence in our industry, in our business. Many years ago, somebody gave me a great formula for success. He said, success equals failure times persistence. So being a persistent failure is actually exactly what we need to become. We learn through our failures. And if we are just acting persistent enough, over time we will become good, we will become great, and we'll strive to excellence. But we gotta make sure that we stay persistent. Without persistence, there's never an extraordinary achievement. Very important matter. Think about it, write it down, never forget that hashtag, okay? And next, of course, we know this one, we need to make a commitment. We make a commitment. And most people exchange commitment and decision. A decision is something you do in an instant. But a commitment means that you follow through, that you kick the ball, that you stay loyal to what you have said you were going to do long after you said it. That's the difference between a decision and a commitment. So staying committed is very important. Performance. Lack of performance takes you nowhere. Performance is important. But performance needs to be measured. And we have to hold ourselves accountable to our performance measures. I've seen so many organizations where they feel they are a high-performing team, but when you start measuring their successes, when you start looking at the numbers in depth, you see that they are not so high-performing as they believe they would be, because they don't measure their performance. And Thomas Monson said it right. When performance gets measured, performance improves. But when performance gets measured and reported back to your upline, to your body in business, even to your downlines as a team effort, even to the company, then you will see that your numbers increase, because what's hidden in there again is the other matter, which is commitment. In order to constantly perform, you need to have that incredible commitment. So whenever you start measuring your business, please make sure you have somebody you can report it to, check your numbers and hold yourself accountable to it. And I can guarantee you that your business is going to constantly go up as long as you do that. Courage. Courage is a rare matter that's talked about in our business, but it does need courage. And all I got to say about courage is this. Think about this question. Do you have enemies? Do you have people who don't like you all the time? Do you have people you have messed up with? We all do. And it's good, because it means that we have stood up for something sometime in our lives. If you want to become a leader, you do not want to be a pleaser. Leaders at times are uncomfortable. Leaders at times are weird. But that's why they are leaders and not pleasers. So if you feel you have that Mother Teresa syndrome, which I've seen a lot of times in organizations, and that's not a bad thing, but it just has no room in network marketing. If you want to become a strong leader, just drive it down a little bit and ask for all the other matters, like performance, for example. What I have done in my career, many, many years ago, I have eliminated the word help, and I exchange it for the phrase support. I'm not helping people, I'm supporting people. The difference between helping people and supporting people is that when you support them, you actually help them, or support them, better said, to drive their action by themselves. If you help them, it might mean that you do the work for them, and ultimately they will not grow, they will not become better. They will not be the ones who ultimately are those leaders who don't need you anymore as an upline. Okay? That's why it's so important. Next one, leadership. And I know leadership is a subject we can do a whole day about, we can do a workshop about, we can speak weeks about. Leadership is a big thing. That's why I want to condense it down to the very minimum of what leadership really means, or what it does not mean. And what it does not mean is leadership is not a title or a rank. And you are not a leader just because you were early in your company and you got all these performers in your downline. You are not a leader, you were lucky, okay? Leadership is a choice. And what I'm saying to our new distributors all the time is, you can decide to be a leader from day one. The first 2 people you put in your downline, show leadership with them. Help them to do whatever needs to be done by being the leader they look up to. You can show leadership and be that leader from the moment. It is a decision, it's a choice. It's not an earned title or it is not a rank. We have other meanings for that, but leadership really is a choice. And if you make that decision to be that leader from the moment you sign up your application or you press enter on your phone for the registration, that's where your business is going to start, and that's where you got to get serious about it. That is leadership. Once people understand leadership is a choice, you will see the world is going to change completely, because everyone in an instant can be this leader. I've been speaking about this many, many times back in my career on broad stages and on small tables. And I've very often seen people saying, you know what? I like that. And I want to decide now to be that leader. And instantly they changed. It's amazing. Watch it, try it. Matter number 8, growth. You got to get on this growth curve. And here's a secret, which might not be a secret to many of you. Growth always happens outside your comfort zone. And I'm sure you've heard this sentence many, many times. I'm not so sure whether you really understand what it means being constantly outside the comfort zone. Especially when you are this kind of leader who is in a decent, maybe even sweet spot in his life, you know? Those are the leaders making these 25,000 a month, 30,000 a month, and many of you might think, oh my gosh, if I just had that kind of income. It is an amazing income, okay, and it is an amazing income, but that's where life starts to get sweet. And that's where they maybe buy a beach house, buy a beach, and they are not so engaged anymore, not so powerful anymore. And that's where you have to drag them again out of the comfort zone and let them know, look, if we talk about the money thing, there's a long path ahead of you from 25,000 a month to maybe 50,000 a month. Not everybody's going to do that, but rest assured, you can do it if you stay outside your comfort zone and work even harder than you've ever worked before. I don't know how many of you follow Dwayne Johnson, the famous actor, on Instagram. But you know, I'm so impressed when I see him work out every morning around 4:30 with the busy schedule he has, with the project he's going on. And I'm only thinking by following him, oh my gosh, what is just my excuse? I have none. Okay, and he's still working out. If I had his muscles, that's maybe why I don't have them, I would have stopped long time ago. But he's there because he's there. He's there because he gets up in the morning. outside your comfort zone, even when you are successful. That's the secret to make it to excellence in network marketing. And when you activate that growth mode, the universe is going to help you to create the life you deserve. Meta number 9, responsibility. Take on responsibility. You're responsible for the things you do, but you're also responsible for the things you don't do. Okay? And that is something that is really important to understand. You got to take action. You got to take on this responsibility, because if you don't do that, you're going to give away your power. You know the death spiral of a leader. Lead, manage, excuse, and blame. You know, that's the death spiral. And giving up responsibility is making excuses. And in the next stage, you're going to get into the blame mode. You're blaming your upline, you're blaming your product, blaming the compensation plan, blaming the company, blaming the weather, blaming COVID, blaming anything. But it's not going to take you anywhere, because the moment you give away responsibility, that's the moment where you give away your decision power. That's the moment where you cannot change anything anymore in your life. So take it on. That's what I'm usually doing. I learned this phrase many years ago, and I said, come on, bring it on. You know, even if the shit hits the fan, sorry to say it that way, just bring it on. I take on responsibility, because then I have the power to change things to the positive in exactly the way I like. Okay? Last one, 10, take ownership. Take ownership on what you do. You do not do this for someone except yourself. Ownership is very important. It's a commitment of the head, the heart, and the hands. Constantly fixing the problems and never fixing or affixing the blame. You know, that's actually what I said in the trade before. You want to make sure that you focus on the problem, that you put your sleeves up and say, bring it on, I'm going to fix it, and I'm going to take full responsibility. And here's one more before I end, and this is the bonus one. And it's called loyalty. Loyalty to me is very important, and there's not much been said about loyalty in network marketing other than in some recognition speeches. Thank you for the loyalty, for being with this company for 20 years, yada, yada, yada. But that's not what I'm saying here. Loyalty means that you gotta stick to what you promised you would do, but you do it to a certain point. There's always a discussion with the leadership about what it means to be loyal. Loyalty is often mixed up with a little bit of naivety or stupidity, but that's not what loyalty is. Loyalty is something where you stay committed to, because there's a lot of people following you along your path. But it does not mean you cannot change your path. The moment you understand that you have to change your path in one or the other way, you have to do it with clarity, honesty, and commitment. Because you're not loyal to the app or to the company or to whatever. You are loyal to yourself. You're loyal to the people who look up to you. You're loyal to the people who have started to believe in you. And this is where you have to stay open. It has to do with actually bonus number 2, which is integrity. And I think integrity is one of the most important traits we have. Put that as hashtag number 12. I hope you like the speeches here. Take these words down, 11 or 12 hashtags, read them every single day, and make up your own story and your own history around these 12 matters. And I believe not only your business is going to go much greater, it's also going to be good for your entire life and for the people who are around you. All the best to you guys. We love you. Thanks.